Mrs. Gifty, how are you? Please introduce
I'm all
yourself.
right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is, as introduced, Gifty Oduse. I have had over 27 years of experience working in social services comprising children and adult services. I have worked in across Europe, specifically in Germany and France, and I moved to the UK 15 years ago, where I have been practicing in the UK as advanced social worker. So that is me in terms of introduction.
Thank you very much. Alero, do you want to introduce yourself briefly, or you're okay?
I'm okay, but I can introduce myself. I was just gonna say good afternoon to everyone. So I'm Alera Judge Taylor, and I work for Bromley Council as a project manager for children's services, and that's how I know Mrs. Gipsy as well, as a colleague of mine. Yes, experience. Oh gosh, over 10, 15 years of experience working with children services, children with disabilities, children with special needs. But at the moment, I manage a project to keep children with their families rather than them coming into care. So far, it's been successful, but we still have our struggles from time to time. So that's sort of me in a nutshell, really.
Thank you very much, Alero. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Welcome. Okay, I'll share my screen and we start. Sorry, somebody wanted to say something? Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Mrs. Gifty, it's all yours.
So, good afternoon again. Today's topic obviously is about adult social care, and we are going to treat issues in adult social care. So we want to know what adult social care is and the ins and outs of the services available to, adults. So when we talk about adults, who are adults and what do adult social care do? So our objective today is going to be around who is an adult, what is the process of referral, what are or is the eligibility criteria, and who qualify for what service. And then we go on to the type of services that are available in adult social care. So, why and when do one needs an adult social care? So you need an adult social care when you can no longer manage your nutrition, you cannot maintain your personal hygiene, you cannot maintain your toiletry needs, that is when you become incontinent, you cannot dress appropriately on your own without support, when you cannot be able to live in your home safely, that is, you can set the house on fire by your activities or, inactivities. You cannot maintain a habitual home environment. That is, maybe there's a lot of clutter, dirt, you cannot clean up, you cannot do anything of that kind. You cannot maintain family or other personal relationships. When people cannot be around you, especially when some people have additional needs in terms of sensory needs and they can't stand noise, they can't stand people, shouting in their close proximity. When you can't access or engage in work and training or volunteering. When you cannot make use of facilities in the community, for instance, travel on the train or bus by yourself. And then when you cannot carry the responsibility of a child, for instance, parents who struggle to, care for their children because of their additional needs. Also, because of all the above, you cannot actually live independently in the community, then you are considered as an adult who needs social care. Now, we come to who is an adult. Obviously, in the UK and other countries, an adult's age starts from 18 years. When you go to the African context, even when you are 25, you are not considered as an adult, like we know. So here it starts at 18 years old. And then the people who need support in terms of adult services or who usually come knocking at our door are people with physical disabilities who maybe have mobility problem and therefore cannot live independently. People with sensory disabilities, like I described a while ago. And in our culture, people like that sometimes are misunderstood. I'm not Nigerian, but sometimes I know that some Nigerians refer to this people with such needs as a wanje or having evil spirits or things like that because we don't understand them. People with learning disabilities are people that's obviously in our culture, either they tell you that you're stupid and you can't get anything, but it's a need. They just can't function like everybody. So people who are 65 years old and above with mental health needs, we have people with early beginning of Alzheimer's or dementia. So there are different types of that can affect their way of living. People who provide unpaid care for family and friends, they may also have needs because they are supporting other people. So we also have maybe children who have had what we call ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and ASD, which is autistic spectrum diseases, or any other diseases. Sometimes they were born blind, they were born with physical maiments, and they have been supported by children's services till they are 18 years old. So going forward, they will need adult services. So in a nutshell, a lot of people are around us who need adult services. So let's think ahead. Obviously, I can hear your group of people discussing. You're quite vibrant, and I don't think anybody's actually physically maimed or having the need for somebody assisting them with their personal care at the moment. But in our community, especially in the Black community, we have aged parents who have worked in the UK for a number of years, and they may need care now. At their age, they might not be able to live independently. We also have children above 18 with special needs, like I said a while ago. Also, we may have an aunt, a cousin, or somebody living in the community that we know that has additional needs that may require adult social care. All these people come under our umbrella of support, and it is a statutory support that they can access. Sometimes even in our church communities or in our social settings, we may have people who are isolated in the community because they have nobody around us. Hello?
Please go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, who may not have people around them. So obviously they may need adult services for them to be able to kind of integrate their society and not be isolated. So yes, how do we access these services? These services are available. So anyone can access adult services, and anyone has a duty to request for an assessment. You can have these services by self-referring or having your professional refer you to adult services. If you don't want that to happen, you can also, ask any other professional. Your children can refer, anybody can refer. The referral goes through what we call the triage process. So that is where we select, we make assessments, we gather information, and then we try to find out how your needs are impacting on your ability to live independently in the community or in society. So the universal assessment is the local authority's duty of care to every adult, and it is the Assessment Act, the Care Act, and the Care Act of 2014. The local authority have a duty to assess everyone, and then that is where they will determine your eligibility. So the things that I showed earlier on, saying if you can't manage your food, eating, incontinence, keeping your environment clean, when you are being assessed, you need to fall under at least 2 categories of those to be able to assess adult social care. So that is the threshold. 2 of those above is enough for you to access adult social care. You must also have, that's why I've said the minimum of those two. So let's go. Why are the Black community not accessing these services? A, we will say the stigma and meaning associated to health condition is one of the biggest problems. I'll also add that even in general, men are the most difficult people to access services. They feel they are well. Even when it comes to medicals, men are the least people who goes to the GP, especially our Black men. We also have our value and belief system. Sometimes people are Christians and they feel that, if I'm suffering with something, God will heal me, and therefore I don't need to, consult, adult services. Our cultural values. Sometimes we also feel that, we can do everything on our own. Sometimes we feel we are supermen. We don't trust the system. We don't trust the intrusion that brings asking for services. You go to adult services, they are coming to do assessment, they are going to see your home, they're going to ask questions about your life. And then that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable having adult services involved in their lives. So when it comes to intimate care, especially when people cannot manage their day-to-day care needs, it is quite difficult for people to have others come to see their intimacy. So because of that, they actually shield themselves out of the whole community. They don't want it at all. They wouldn't ask for those services. On the other hand, it is also the lack of awareness. Sometimes we are not aware these services are available and we don't know. So because we don't know, we don't ask for it. If we take our, older people into account at this moment, some of them have come into this country, but some of them can still speak English very well. So there is this language barrier and also poverty, which could be fiscal in terms of money, and then knowledge. That is where they don't know these services are available at all. So they don't access them, and then they live on their own and they suffer alone. So how do we qualify for local authority funding for your care? You can receive care and support either in your home or within a care home after an assessment has been completed. So the eligibility for financial support from the local authority, you must, first of all, be assessed as needing care. So you must be eligible from the two criteria at least. You must have at less than 23,250 in your savings or capital assets. So it can be savings or even it can be a property. And if that is the case, it must be below that amount stated. You have a weekly income that is less than your care home costs. So that also opens door for you to, qualify for local authority funding. You must be a resident in your local authority to access the local social services in your area. Now, so bringing it all together, when we come to the assessment, how are the assessment and what is an assessment and how does it inform the care that you receive going forward? So the assessment process involves a home visit where information will be gathered from you, your family, your friends, your GP, and people who know you. So for instance, if somebody has suffered a stroke, we will have to take information from their GP medical record, how it happened, how it's been managed, what sort of support plan is in place. All that will come under the assessment. So we'll gather all those information and then put it in a report. That report is usually done on a strength-based basis. So it will not just come to say that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, so therefore you are no good and we are just going to dump support onto you. No. We'll look at your strengths. Maybe you have a stroke or you are recovering from a stroke or something. And then you are needing some enhanced care, but at the same time, you can at least do your personal care, or you can at least in your wheelchair cook your own meal, or you have a family network around you that can assist you. People, your children are in the community or they are afar and they can assist you. So we take all that information together, we bring it together, and then we determine what sort of care that you can be offered. Now, in that, we have to base that on your financial assessment. Next. Anything? Next slide. Based on your financial assessment, you may be required to contribute to your care. So obviously, if we assess you and we see that, oh, you have an asset of 24,000, or you have savings to that amount, then we will say that, okay, this amount you have, so you may be required to contribute this quota to your own care. And then we'll put that together for you. Also, sometimes in the UK particularly, the government like people to remain in their home and receive care. It's quite easier, and it's tailored to their needs, sort of. So if you can stay at home, the government will support you as far as possible and put a care package in place for you. This care package, this care package, you can decide to manage it yourself through what we call direct payments, where money will be paid into your account and then you will have to be paying for services. People like using these services because obviously they can employ a family member to do their caring for them. They can have these carers as and when they need them. And then when you are assessed to need a caring person to come into your home, you need them at least minimum 4 times a day. So they can come in the morning, afternoon, evening, and bedtime. But some people would like to use manage their own care in the sense that they would like to have people come in when they want and how they want this to be managed. For instance, in the Black community, some people will manage their care by, having somebody come and pick them and take them to church on Sunday, or take them to their grandchildren or something within the week. So that's one, you get your direct payment and you pay. You then become the employee of your carer. You pay the employee. You have to have HMRC. You have to sign up to HMRC, and then you have to declare how you have used the direct payment every year. On the other hand, we have the one that the local authority can organize for you. That is the care package. Mostly, BME Group don't go for this one because it is quite inflexible in that the packages come in a package. The carer will have to come maybe 6 o'clock in the morning and do your intimate care and come at midday. Maybe that's not how you need them. So people tend to not to want to use that most of the time. So, but these are what are available to us as, a community or members of the society. So types of services that are on offer. So depending on your assessment, if you are isolated, there is a day center that you can go to daily. The day center provides you the opportunity to interact with people, and you have a meal there, and you can make new friendships there. So that is one aspect of it. The local authority also, like I said, encourage people to stay at home most of the time and have their friends and family network support them. In that manner, if you are using, for instance, direct payment, you can have a family member do your care needs for you and you pay them. The only clause to this is that family member shouldn't be living in the same house with you. So that's it. We also provide supported living accommodation for people with mental health difficulties who cannot live on their own, people with learning disabilities. So that is a supported living accommodation. They share a sitting room, they share a kitchen, and then they have carers on site to support them. But that is a house, you only have a room to yourself. So that aspect of care is also available. And then there is the extra care housing. That is one that sometimes people like because it's like it gives you a partial independence, but you live in a kind of a communal housing area. You have your own rooms to yourself. So you have your room, your bedroom, your sitting room, everything onto yourself. And then you pay rent. But obviously you are living with neighbors of similar needs. And then obviously when you are having a crisis, there will be a nurse on site, a doctor, somebody to assist you. So that's one that we usually go for. And then we come to the last option that is available, and that is rare. It's rarely encouraged by the local authority because of the financial implications. But people get to a point where that is the absolute one that will meet their needs. For instance, if somebody is completely at an age where they cannot recognize anybody in their environment and they need to be in a care home, they can't manage anything, incontinent, they have the total, they have maybe about 7 of the criteria. So therefore, their care needs cannot be managed at home at all. Then that will be the last option for them to go into a care home. But like I previously said, that will they can either contribute to their care if they are above the financial threshold, and if they are below it, then obviously the local authority will take full responsibility for offering them, that support. So that is me then. Thank you very much. I am ready for you to shoot your questions at me.
Thank you very much, Gifty. Really, really appreciate it. And gents, you can all come off mute now. Okay. Just say hello to all the new people who've joined us. People like Mayowa. Welcome. Gifty. Really, really very good talk and very good presentation.
Thank you.
Good information. I'll now stop recording this bit because we're now going to that kind of session where people will now start asking questions and maybe personal things. So we don't record this bit. So let me just stop my recording. But before I stop my recording, please, gents, can you all come off mute and just give your appreciation before I stop my recording? And before we start,
how do we do that? With our legs or with our hands?
Anyone with your mouth, leg.
Welcome, Gifty. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
They're not